Live and up.
Cayuga.
I'll kind of get
Some stuff
started.
I think it is.
Are we all set?
Yep.
All right, then I'll call it to order. And, so we're kind of all sitting at the table, so we know who's on the committee. Stephanie Vito.
Yeah.
Heidi Nightingale. Hans Petcher.
Here.
Tom Winslow.
Here.
And Ben Vitale, so everybody's here. And,
Yeah.
Here I started with motion to approve the minutes from AA. And motion second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Good. Looks like there's one appointment. We don't have to approve it, but there, and we'll start with the department heads. Carrie? Even the group is deep.
Thanks. So everyone has my report. A little bit lengthy again. Happy to report that I was able to check in with staff today and everyone is very busy. Despite being displaced and working from home, so we're still doing our very best to advance all our projects to the best of our ability. With the limited resources that we have at home, so that is good news. Reminders again in the packet that there'll be some resolutions from me next month for a couple of grant applications and countywide initiatives. You'll likely hear a little bit more about that at the full legislature meeting this month. I'll be kind of tag teaming on a presentation. And then of course, we have our public hearing related to the resolution that I have tonight for the county ag district. We'll be giving a very short presentation, kind of an overview of what ag districts are for the newer legislators that might not know. And then the results of this year's request. As mentioned last month, we received 3 requests, as you see in the resolution packet. The Ag Environmental Protection Board is supporting 2 of those 3. One does not meet the basic criteria set in New York State Ag Markets Law. So they are not supporting that one. Also, I take decisions up to the board ledge on what you want to admit into the ag district or not. Questions, want me to expand on anything?
Any questions for Carrie?
I just think no one knows about the presentation you're referring to.
Well, and I wasn't sure
Okay, I
if I
mean,
was
well,
to be announcing it or not, so,
it'll be on the agenda,
right.
just a couple of minutes, all right,
She probably doesn't want to be the one who announces
okay, all right, fine.
it.
And lucky for everyone, I'll take the motion.
Right, the only thing I'll point out just really, really fast is as requested at last committee meeting, I did provide a summary table at the end of my report for 23-24 municipal projects, so that you can see kind of a breakdown of what we've done in the past, following our department policy to give a 50% grant for staff time to our municipalities when we're doing a project with them that does not involve state agency grant funds. It's just straight coming out of their coffers. The exception on there you see is Aurora, and I noted it. That was full reimbursable cost because we had a brand new planner tag teaming with me on that project. And we used it as a training exercise for that particular planner who did a lot of the work. So we may continue to do that going forward since we have the new stuff. And very last thing is happy to announce I have 3 candidates, but between my 2 positions that are open right now that we have scheduled interviews for next week. We did get the green light from admin to go ahead and do those interviews. If we found candidates we wanted to hire, they would find me a closet to work in with those folks in person during the county office building vote.
If there aren't any other questions for Carrie, she does have one resolution. PPW 4. Anybody want to make a motion for PPW 4?
Make motion?
Second, Heidi.
Second, any questions regarding PP4? Otherwise, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carrie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next would be Training.
Good afternoon. Too. This is a really busy time of year for us because we have our summer program starting. So that has been busy. We've had over 65 applications for the summer program. Just to give you an idea, last year we sponsored about 50 something, so we have a lot of interest in our summer program. Another update is yesterday I received my federal allocation, which is the primary funding source for our department. We did receive somewhat of a cut in funds, so I am evaluating our programs and our structure to make everything work out. But at this point, we did federally receive a slight decrease from the workforce development board for our federal funds. So working that out, submitting a preliminary budget probably by the end of the week or the next week. And then hopefully, moving forward for the year, because our year starts in July. Decrease. So the funds are allocated to the Cayuga Cortland area, so we do share the funds with Cortland. The decrease, Cayuga is receiving a larger decrease than even the total decrease for the area. So there are some questions there that will be asked, from me in terms of that. It's hard to give you an exact number, but enough of a cut that, I have to look at some things and figure it out. Just because workforce development is a huge, it's important right now. It's important for economic development. It's important for our youth and for our adults. So, I'm definitely preparing a budget that's fiscally responsible and keeping in consideration how to provide the services and maintain the staff. So, more to come on that. I'm just in the preliminary stages of putting that together. But that's definitely, I was somewhat surprised at the decrease, unfortunately. And then the last update I have, Micron. So obviously working in partnership with Micron, I do sit on the workforce consortium through Syracuse University. We had a meeting at OCC last week, and I was able to tour the facility for the new clean room. OCC campus is putting together a clean room, so they're in the construction phase. It's really quite interesting. I mean, I saw the digital design and I was able to stand in the space and see what that's going to look like, and network and partner with the regional partners that are also part of the Micron consortium. So it's nice to see those meetings are starting up again, and hopefully we can bring in some potential revenue perhaps through the Micron project. But also, I am researching and looking at other revenue streams to bring in, because traditionally employment and training is operated on WIOA funds alone, and through the years, of course, funds shrink in federal world. So looking at how to bring in other revenue to creative so that we can sustain with what we have and potentially grow would really be the vision that I have. So that's, I believe, the only one other thing, sorry. So summer youth, is a huge part of our day right now, part of our week, every day until the kids start work. One of the components for summer youth is providing financial literacy education. And I've partnered with Lions National Bank to provide an in-person education piece for the youth instead of doing it in-house. So that's a new partnership that we have with Lions National Bank. So that's kind of exciting for us, but that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you.
Thanks. Excellent agenda is done. Peers.
All right, good evening, everybody. For us, busy time of year, just like everybody, now that summer's here. Downside about this year, I guess downside, upside, it's also construction season, as well as grant writing season. So we got one grant that's due at the end of the month that we're working with farms on. Another one just got announced yesterday. So we're gonna start working on that one as well as seeing the construction projects that are starting. Normal workload is going on. Hydro seeding has been out and about, helping the municipalities out. We had a tire event this past Saturday, which is good at our office. We collected about 3,500 tires or so. A couple more to get rid of, and appreciate the help of the highway department and planning department and cooperative extension too. They were all there to help volunteers, as well as Nucor. I mean, to offload 3,500 tires in a couple hour span is pretty good. A lot of dirty ones, which is the ones that we want, coming out of the fields, coming out of wherever, and taking the recycling. So it's been pretty good. And We're also doing some stream surveys and preparing for some grants and some implementation coming up, hopefully this year or maybe next year, depends on permits, so. Just crazy time of year for us. It's good, it's good crazy. Good questions?
No. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Ken Walsh doesn't seem to be here. So, and how about Aaron Poole? Yeah. All right. Plugging along here, it's, oh, you're on the, you're up.
Hi, everyone. As you see from my report, the water authority has been pretty consistent in the work we've been doing. The only thing I would add is that the Cayuga Lake Protection Plan is noted, was given a member item by Congresswoman Tenney's office for $2.5 million. And also that, the end of this week, we will be applying for a WIA grant for 70% of the project. We won't know our success on that, so probably, our financial consultant says we won't know till about election time. I'm thinking probably more towards December. Any questions? All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Weights and measures? You can see they're working. Gary Duckett, it's here.
Okay, first thing I'd like to do today is introduce Tony Daggett. He's gonna be my replacement because I'm retiring next month, as all of you know. This is Tony.
Hey, everybody, thanks, looking forward to working with you all, meeting you all, and I'll take some time, but I'll get everybody's name down eventually.
Tony's a resident of, in my district in Conquest, so,
Here, here.
welcome Conquest.
Okay, with that, you have my report. The only thing I was gonna add, our new truck that we got approved last year and ordered this year has arrived at the highway now. We're picking that up soon. And other than that, you have my report. If you have any questions for me, I'll answer as best I can.
I guess I have a question. And it's regarding DPW one, Gary. I personally, I don't know if it's the right time to add to the staff for a building that we can't really do anything in right now.
Right.
Would there be a problem with tabling that for next month?
I really don't have a problem with tabling it for a month. There are some things going on that I would only be able to talk to in the executive session if you'd like to discuss it further. I wasn't planning on telling you right now anyway, but I wanted that ability if something happens that I can't talk about publicly.
Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah,
That'll work.
one
That'll
month
work
is
for
done.
all of us, I
Good.
think.
Yeah, no.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions?
You
for
wanna,
Gary?
you wanna do that before he goes? He said he's only gonna be for another month.
Well,
But-
like Tony's all
Yeah.
on board.
Oh, he's on board, okay, all right, that's
He-
fine,
he
I'll be
knows-
up.
Yeah, and I'll be here for the Public Works meeting anyway,
okay,
so,
just
you
making
know,
sure.
you could beat me up one more time. I might let him do it.
You've had a terrible time filling this, right? This is their renewal,
Yes,
so it's been vacant for over a year.
yes. Yeah, we thought we had somebody hired, and the person even, it's actually for our, public safety building. The person was, gonna sign up for the background check and, he was gonna pick up his, drug test forms. And he said, oh, I'm busy because I'm working here, working there, and pretty soon he went away, so
This is for public safety.
it's for the public safety building, actually, this specific position.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Any other questions for Gary?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gary. So,
How are you?
I'll sneaking in down there.
You got a lot of updates in there regarding both, this building and the Parks building. We are finished with the project over on Goville Island, the assembly and the installation of the new shelter over there, so I hope you get a chance to see it. I'm sure it'll get put to good use this weekend for the car show. Still some grass getting seeded around it, so don't party too much around the outside, but for another week or two. There were quite a few updates in there, but obviously I'm not gonna go through all of those. If you have any questions on the report, I'd be happy to answer any of those.
Why is there, you do have, 4 resolutions, no, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Resolutions?
Yes, I do. The first one, PW5 is, to authorize, use of the capital H 2102, to contract with Colliers Engineers, a list of the 5 projects that were listed on there. Most of those are repair projects, around the park. After looking at the extensive list that we had and collating them with Colliers, had a conversation with, Lynn Marinelli, the budget director, and just decided that would probably be a good opportunity for us to utilize some of that ARPA fund to do a lot of that. A lot of those, that engineering that's gonna be required to do some rather extensive repairs around the park. I will say we had a meeting with Colliers today, as a part of that number 1 item on there that had to do with survey over on Deauville Island. They did a preliminary, look at the island bridge that we have over there. That would be our main access to Deauville Island, so for all the construction coming up. That includes the destination playground that the Friends are raising funds for, and the whole installation of an amphitheater. The bridge that's over there does not have a weight rating. I know that Mr. Vitale and I have talked a little bit about that. Doesn't have a weight rating. It was installed as a temporary bridge back in 1999, so it's been very permanently temporary. And so in order to use that bridge, that would be our high weighted bridge, so we're looking to them to do a full assessment all the way through construction documentation to have the replacement of that bridge done. That may be something that we would come back and look at, ARPA funds for the replacement of the usage of some of the funds in that 2102 resolution that designated funding for Deauville Island, and the rest of the construction will be predicated on the replacement of that bridge, is what I'm assuming the assessment is about to tell us. So instead of just doing assessment, I'd like to have them do their preliminary assessment, get us a report rather quickly, and then say this is what it's gonna take to replace it, to go forward with those projects.
So let's have a motion before we have the discussion. We have a motion for PW6. Motion, we have a second. Second. Tom seconded. Thank you. Discussion. My first question is, so you said the preliminary, will that determine what the weight rating would be first, or?
Without doing any destructive testing, they probably won't be able to do it. We went through this exercise prior to doing the paving in 19 and 20, when we paved the pathways out there. And at that time, we had a visual assessment done by another engineering firm, and they said, yes, for the purposes they're using, this is fine, but there's no way that they're gonna give us a weight rating for it, because they can't do destructive testing on it to get that number. And if you do destructive testing, you obviously don't have a bridge anymore, so we're at that impasse with them. And since at the time, now we're talking about another 4 years later, we've had some questions from contractors about driving heavyweight trucks over it, both our own. Highways delivered stone out there, dug for soil and water, they've had to do work out there.
What does the preliminary, what does that provide?
The assessment will basically, they'll do a research, which we know isn't already there, but they'll do the research into the state bridge program. So it shouldn't be represented anywhere in the state bridge program, because it wasn't the state highway bridge. They'll do that, plus they'll do another physical assessment, and there's been some deterioration over the last 4 years in that time too, some spalling. There's exposed rebar in it now, so that assessment will basically say, yes, we recommend a replacement, and then go right through the process of all the way through design. So what I would ask is that in a week from now, they're supposed to have us an actual number for that design process, and that's all the way through construction documents and bidding. So it will be a full redesign of that bridge that we would have a number for next. I don't have the number right now, but I would have it by next.
Any other questions for Doug? Yes, go ahead.
Doug, when you mentioned the ARPA funds, is that the original $1 million that we gave?
Correct.
Okay, that's fine.
That's sorry, 2102 is
Yeah,
that original
thank you.
funding. Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, well, legislator first, go ahead.
Are you talking about amending this resolution because you have Fleming Bridge assessment? You know the assessment's already bad, but you want to plug the number in for the cost of the repair?
Correct. So instead of just an assessment, that wouldn't be the repair, but instead
Okay.
of just an initial assessment, which was several $1,000s, it would be all the way through to a construction document to go out to bid.
and this is coming from a capital H, this particular resolution, but the other one you'd have to get from the ARPA. Or we put the ARPA in a
That is,
capital
that
H.
is it. That is
So
it.
are you gonna amend this resolution if you have the
Yes.
dollar amount?
By ways, by next week, I've
Yeah.
committed
Oh,
to
okay.
having a number, so instead of just an assessment, it would basically be that.
Yeah.
Right to the end of construction.
Yeah,
Your question.
yeah, that works. We just want to make sure it's in there.
Okay.
Any other questions? Otherwise, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried.
PPW 6 is authorization to enter into a contract with Hertronics. That's actually for the monitoring of this building. That contract has expired.
According to mine, that would be HAPW 8.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
6 we just did.
Okay.
You're all right. PW 8. Do we have a motion for PW 8?
Make motion.
PPW 8. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Tom? Now, any discussion? Hearing no discussion or questions, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried.
So do you have 6 as the authorization for fire
No.
protection system?
No, that would be PPW 7.
That's completely different than what I had.
It's
Okay.
okay. Doesn't matter. We're on the same page.
So fire detection systems is the fire alarm system monitoring for the Sterling Nature Center. That requires a contract.
We have a motion for PPW 7. Stephanie, second. Tom. Thank you. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Now we have PPW 5, which is the Sterling Nature Center rental rates.
Rental rates, yep, and this is for, they have a conference room up there within the space. It wasn't listed in our original rental rate sheet, but we've had some requests for it, so in other words. To charge for it, we need to have a listed rate to charge, so that's what this refers to.
We have a motion for PPW 5. Stephanie, second.
I guess second.
Heidi. Questions? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Anything else, Doug?
Nope, that's it, thank you.
Thank you very much. Here we are with highway.
The only thing I'd like to add to my report is starting on Monday, we'll be moving motor pool back to York State. So we've got the initial lift is put in and the other two will be moved next week. So we're gonna send the emails out and start moving cars over there next week.
I see you cleaned up all behind the other building and stuff. It looks kind of nice over there.
Yeah. We got to clean that pretty good around there. Yeah.
Did you guys see it or did
No.
Soil and Water?
Soil and Water did that seating.
All right.
Yep.
Great. Okay, and you have 2 resolutions, PPW 2.
Yes, both the resolutions are for filling medium MEOs due to retirements.
So we can, yeah. You want to make the motion?
Sure.
Stephanie made the motion, second. Now,
Okay,
thank you.
Second.
So we have PPW 2 and 3 bundled. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? So you said they're both from due to retirement.
Yes, yep, both fully funded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Carried. Anything else for Mr. Silver? Advice, thank you very much. Before I entertain a motion to adjourn, is there any other legislators that have anything? Otherwise, I'll tell you next month. If some of the other departments don't have other than a report or whatever, I would appreciate a little bit extra time. I'm going to have Mike Miller from CCIDA come and give a report, update us on what the IDA is doing at this point in time. Okay,
At this
at this meeting,
Mhm.
yep. Other than that, motion to adjourn. Motion, Tom,
Second.
second, Stephanie. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, anyone opposed? Carried, thank you.
See what Nash meeting to order so that we can, up tonight. Okay.
Yeah.
President, I'm gonna run the meeting. Brian Muldrow is not available tonight, so, the, members here are myself, Elaine Daly, Robert Shea, Mark Strong, and Ben Vitale. I'd like to get a motion to, approve the minutes of May 8th.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. We have, 4 resolutions, on the agenda tonight. One was, added. I think under new Jenny, because it was an error that it was left out to begin with. But I don't see anyone from Board of Elections here. I know that he's talking about the early voting for the primaries. If there's any questions for Keith or John, yeah, I guess we could ask them at another date. Sheila has one resolution on the agenda. Let's see, Sheila or Amanda, but we can get through those. Oh, is she on the line? Sheila, are you on the line?
Oh, there I go. I couldn't unmute myself. Yeah,
Anything,
that's actually a real property one. Jenna and Delgado did that one,
oh,
but
the
it's a
clerk,
policy, so it goes on government ops.
okay, it's under clerk of the legislature, so that's why I picked on you.
That's,
But-
that's okay. All the policies go under me because I have to upload them to the web.
But if we have questions about those, we'll cover those when we get to Jenny then. That's no problem. Anything you want to add or anything?
No, unless you got any questions on anything.
Okay, nope. Seems like we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Brian, we don't have anything you want to talk about? Yeah,
I don't wanna talk about this, but we do need to talk about it. So I apologize, but I haven't had anything prepared for the past month for the meeting.
understandable.
Obviously, most of it's in the office building. But what I wanna do is to brief you all on where we're at this point, 2 weeks into this closure. So as you're aware, I had 2 offices displaced, my recording office, the clerk's office, and the DMV. So we've been working tirelessly for the past 2 weeks to get them up and running, get back accessible to the public is our, obviously our goal. We are making great strides and great progress in both offices. And I gotta commend my staff. My staff has been unbelievable. And some of them have been through COVID, some of them haven't, but they adapted very well. They're really helping us get through this. I would like to comment that this is it similar to COVID? It's also different because we're the only one shut down right now. We're the only DMV shut down. We're the only recording office shut down. Everybody else is open, so there's other places for people to go, which is a good thing. But in the same breath, we can't get in the building and get our supplies to do our jobs appropriately and fully. So we've been working on workarounds for that. We have been able to make some band-aids. Other counties have been fantastic in reaching out, helping out. IQS, our vendor, has been great, accommodating us. IT has been absolutely wonderful. The other departments, especially the health department with Kathleen, have been great in helping us out, accommodating us with space. So that all said, and not to go too far into depth with it, take up too much of your time. The recording office is up and running in the historian's office at this time. I would put us at about 85 to 90% up and running. Sure, your phones go a lot, but mine haven't stopped the past 2 weeks. So recording office is about 85 to 90%. We're not able to do passports at this point. We're waiting on some notary stamps to get reissued because some are locked in the building. So we're doing some notary stuff. We're not fully opening that up to the public at this point. We're not doing in person with the public at this point. We're processing all the mail that we possibly can. We have some limitations because some equipment we don't have at this point. But we're making a lot of progress there. We're in quite a hole. We're backed up quite a bit, as you can imagine, as far as getting documents done. And a lot of this stuff is of time essence, so that's a major concern of ours that we're working towards. I've been keeping the bar association, up to date as much as I can with any information I can provide them. Our abstractors, our title people, so I'm trying and communicating with the operations team, as much as I can. Questions on that recording office? Again, there's a lot more to it, a lot more moving parts here, but I don't want to already go too far in depth on it. So if there are any questions on that, I'll go into the DMV. Yes,
Is there particular vendor equipment that's needed for the recording office?
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and you've got some things in
We
the
are,
pipeline?
IQS has been, they're a great vendor in the first place, and they've been very accommodating, and they got us some items, but we're in need of some more items. Some of the stuff that we were using inside the building is actually old, outdated. So some of the stuff that we're doing a switch over on some items too, which is making it a little bit more challenging as well. Staff has some new equipment as well. But yeah, IQS has been very good to work with.
But again, there is no in-person services that are being provided or can be provided.
Not at this point, there's, we can do some things by appointment and we're working towards opening that appointment to the public. I hope to do that in the very near future. I don't know if you saw my press release last week, but it laid out what people can do in the meantime, to get their information to us. We are accepting mail, get our mail every day, UPS, FedEx, people can send their documents or whatever they need to us, and we can do what we can with it, or put it on hold until we have the right equipment to take care of it.
This is the clerk's work.
This is the clerk's work. This is just the clerk's work. So we're working with the attorneys as well, like I said, the Bar Association, and trying to get as much work up there as done that we can. We just came up with a solution to be able to scan match for instance, which you need a large scanner to do that with. We work with Jenny on that usually, and obviously she doesn't have that capability, so.
She's working with the city of Allen
I just found another solution I
Yes.
just talked about too.
with the scanning for maps. So this will
Health
be very
Department has a scanner as well, so we have one in-house that we can utilize, we just talked about that. So,
There was another question. I don't know if they can go to the city of Auburn. I was gonna ask, like, I didn't think of the city of Auburn, but other municipalities or other counties, if they have needs, they can go to those offices and get the same service that they
yeah, if
would for
they,
the county.
right now, to keep things in some sort of control through this chaos, we're asking people to email Cayuga County Clerk at cayuga.us. And we'll set up whatever we can to accommodate their needs. But just to try to keep a rein on it. So we have DSS in that building as well right now. And I have my historians that are working remote out of that office that sometimes have to come in. So it's pretty jammed in there right now.
Were you asking if you can file something in another county? for
Yes,
our-
like if I had a document that I didn't wanna send it in by postal service, because
Yes,
I didn't wanna trust it getting lost in postal service. I
Absolutely.
can't physically take that to another county and
No,
it
it
has to
have
go
our
to
stamps, has
the
to
home
have,
county.
that's have Cayuga County Clerk's signature on it. It has to be done Cayuga County. There's no workaround with that.
DMV stuff maybe, but
DMV
not
is
the
different,
clerk's
and
stuff.
I'll
Okay,
brush
yeah.
on that.
Not like the DMV we can go to.
Right, and I'll brush on that. Any other questions on the reporting office? So the DMV is a little bit more of a challenge, but we, Peter Thomas, our supervisor there, and his staff have done a terrific job getting us to the point that we're at right now. So we're very fortunate that we have a mobile unit that we utilize at the county jail. Actually, the sheriff owns that unit, but my staff utilize it to do services for him and his people. So we were able to activate that unit rather quickly after the closure. But it takes time to work through the state to be able to get our networking up and running and so on and so forth. That all said, that unit has been running, I don't remember the time frame, at least a week, if not a little bit longer. And we're processing our mail, we're processing dealership work, we're processing requests as they come in. People are emailing requests, and we're trying to be as accommodating as we can and meeting people and getting work processed. So that has worked, but I only have one terminal with that, so we try to keep that a little bit more control on that. We just got in this week. I've reached out to my colleagues in other counties, and we just brought in a couple more terminals. So we have 2 up and running right now. We're gonna have a third one hopefully up and running by tomorrow
Yeah, the sheriff's
at
office.
the sheriff's office. We met with the sheriff and the undersheriff, working on an in-person plan, so, we're moving forward with that. I'll probably be putting a press release on that this evening. How we're gonna move forward with that, but we plan on opening up for in-person. As soon as tomorrow, by appointment. By appointment only to start, and we'll see how that goes and how we could progress into stop in. Yeah, it's. I can't say how proud I am of my staff or how hard they've worked.
It's a big step.
Yeah, and it's. Our constituents deserve that, and it's, you have the right to have that right here for them, and that's my job, is to make sure that they get that, so that's one of them. Any questions on DMV? I have nothing to report on the Dreams project right now. Michael's got full reins on that right now. I haven't even had a discussion with him in the last 2 weeks on that, except for signing some
Understandable.
authorization forms and stuff, but. He obviously knows the situation that we're in, and he's got full faith and confidence in him to take care of what he's had to take care of, and he'll reach out with any needs. Same to the historian's office. Any questions for me? I have no resolutions because I haven't had that.
Okay, good.
Gotta have a little bit of humor.
That's right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Tom. With your, just mini report.
Yeah, just the mini,
Uh-huh.
mini version.
Uh-huh.
So good evening, I want to mimic a lot of what Brian has explained, but due to the closure, obviously our IT department has shipped our complete priorities in supporting all of our departments at the county office building. We've been doing that obviously since the last 2.5 weeks, so that's what we've been working on. I do want to extend a huge shout out to my staff, just for putting it, we got a plan in action with the operational team and really went right in on it. And we've really done a really pretty good job supporting all of our departments and keeping things as operational as we can. I also want to extend a thank you to the several vendors that have stepped up. They saw us advertise out there. I've also reached out, of course, to kind of ask for some help. They've been very, very responsive. ComSource, local municipality, the Auburn School District has stepped up and actually donated some equipment to us as well. So that's been amazing to keep us operational. So I really do want to say thank you to everyone there. But yeah, as far as our active and ongoing projects, everything is obviously on ice until we can get things kind of under control. But I'd be happy to take any questions you may have about our operations or what we're doing during this closure. Yes.
First of all, thank you. I had a very seamless help ticket incident with IT with IT. I just had a glitch at home and couldn't connect with the domain any longer, and I had not one but two people in your department be able to help me out, and was able to just go up to the county office building or the community mental health center.
Okay.
They put them in some pretty nice offices over there.
We're kind of all over the place
Yeah,
at this point.
yeah.
But yeah.
The couple the two that are working there.
Yep.
My other question is, which department did you find needed more help with equipment that you were able to utilize from the school district?
I would say Department of Social Services is probably our biggest gap right now.
And that was like laptops.
Yes, yeah, a lot of them have more of like a desktop setup. They didn't do a lot of work from home and things like that, so it was really kind of meeting them in the middle to provide them the access they needed. But we filled that need, so it's great.
Thank
There's
you.
no issue connecting to the state system with the Department of
No,
Social Services?
so, yeah, some of the more recent updates with the state, they do everything in what's called a virtual desktop infrastructure, which means if you launch a browser, you can access the majority of their applications, so. That's
I'm
been
shaking
great.
my head like I know exactly what you're talking about, but okay.
Yeah, I actually do understand that. Yeah.
We're all.
I was gonna say that. So that's not an issue. Well, I'm sure everyone appreciates all the support that the IT department's been to them, that's for sure, and your work too.
Hey, Elaine, can I?
Yep.
So as you realize, right, it's a big upset to everybody, but IT is the one that has like touched every single person in that building, every department, so They're working very hard and, this whole can-do attitude, solution-driven,
Mhm.
you know, you and your team are doing outstanding. So thank you so much.
You should nominate yourself for Cayuga Gold.
No, I thought about that. I actually thought about that. Tom, when I had this experience that was so seamless in the middle of a major crisis, I thought Tom needs to get the Cayuga Gold. He's figured out how to keep his staff like at 110% plus.
And if there's no other questions, then you want to go over GO3, which is authorizing the county acting through its Department of Information Technology to contract with other Cayuga County municipalities, departments, and agencies to provide managed information technology services. And thanks for reworking this resolution. It makes a lot more sense to me now at this point. I understand you helped work on it too. But if you want to go over that,
I'll make the motion.
okay. Second,
I'll second it, Mark.
great.
Yeah, so basically, just an overall summary, so, we have been getting requests since I started back in 2021 from different municipalities. Trying to connect to a lot of our different services. One being the computer aided dispatch CAD system, that operates out of our E911 center, our tax software, and some of the website management, support that many municipalities require because they're attached to our website. So as we were getting these requests over the different years, it came to find out that there was never really any formal agreement that was in place with these municipalities. And what we have come to find over the years is that they were connecting to our internal services using maybe some more outdated equipment, and they weren't really connecting on a secure basis. So really, the idea of this resolution is to provide a service to these municipalities, not only to allow them to connect securely, but also to make sure that they have the most recent updated equipment and infrastructure tied around these services, to facilitate and seamlessly operate, I should say.
And the computer aided dispatch, which I never heard before, is really what Mark was talking about last time about with EMS and all those critical services that.
That is correct. Installment system, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Is $75 an hour for the support you'll do?
Yep, and we arrived at that because that is it's a really competitive rate. A lot of these other municipalities are looking at some third parties that are, 2 or 3 times more expensive than that, so we can come in at a competitive rate and give them the same or better service than they're getting now.
Any other questions for Tom? All right, anyone opposed? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good, thank
That
you.
was different.
I know, guys, I'd start with the naysayers first.
I like that. They have to decide.
It did, yes, if they, yeah. Okay, next is, let's see, Kevin. If you wanna,
Afternoon. I'm glad to be not working in the county office building. To be 100% honest. with you.
noted.
So we've had a pretty good month of May. Obviously, Memorial Day is a big time for veteran activities. So you can see there mostly under other activities, we did Memorial Day events in Weedsport. I was the MC for the wreath laying ceremony in Auburn. Also earlier in the month, I had the opportunity to go to a couple different events in Syracuse. One of them was called the VA Convening, where they talk about veteran services in the Northeast. Really was the focus of it. And being able to have some input into national level VA, question and answer and input, not a bad thing, because there are some moves by the National County Veteran Service Agency, I think that's what they call it, to have federal funding pushed down to our levels. One of the things a lot of people don't realize is that most of the claims that are now filed in the country are filed by county veteran service organizations, or by agencies. Even though we file under like the American Legion, or our POA is under New York, or some do Veterans of Foreign Wars, it's a lot of it's done by county agencies in the actual compensation claims. So having the opportunity to speak into that was good. It just happened to be right in Syracuse, so I went over for a couple of events over there. The other thing that we've been doing more with the Joseph P. Dwyer program is we had a veteran come into the office. His wife had kicked him out of the house because he was an alcoholic. And he was looking for his DD 214 and he was homeless. And so we got him into Chapel House thinking he might get veteran affairs funding. But because he technically had a place to go back to, both DSS and Veteran Affairs said, no, we're not going to fund this. So through the Joseph P. Dwyer program, we can actually fund him, got him back into Chapel House. He was actually on the street for a weekend. Got him back in. I was able to talk to him. And a week later, he went into rehab. He had to go through detox and he's in rehab right now. So we're hoping that we're going to have a good outcome there. So that's part of opportunities. We've got another one we're working with. Fortunately, he was able to be funded by the VA, but we're still counseling. We've got some part-time VSOs that serve as peer mentors in those arenas. And so we've gotten a little more activity in that respect. Another interesting thing that we're doing is one of our VSA also is an assessor, and she was looking at properties in the county. And she actually helped people, veterans put in who have mobile homes. There's a mobile home replacement program. And we're helping veterans apply for that program as well. So that's the gist of what we've been doing. And there's other events that we've got. I was in Weedsport, but that'll be on next month's report. Other than that, if there are any questions.
No, thank you.
Kevin, I see one of the things you have on here is the Fresh Connect checks, and if you just want to touch base before you go tonight, I might have some suggestions for that for you.
In what respect? We've been handing them out. They're going fast.
But problem I see is they come to market and some of them have a fistful of them. And then a lot of them don't have any. And, you ask them, are you a veteran? Yeah. And did you get them? No. And so it'd be nice that, with us being on the ground, we could get names for you or whatever, so that some of the veterans actually get some of the benefits instead of a few getting a lot.
Well, we hand them out in $50 increments.
That's a lot compared to what other people get, but that's okay.
Yeah, we handed them out at the Stryker Memorial Service for the veterans who were there. And obviously handed them out the office. I handed out a lot up in Weedsport during their field days, and people come into the office for them as well. So you can definitely point them in our direction.
Is it well publicized for veterans how to get these, or?
We put it out on the veteran organizations, but there are people who are not connected to veteran organizations. This is only the second year we've done it. And so it's one of those things, once it becomes a habitual, people will be looking for it. So that's how some people contacted us and said, hey, I got these last year. Do you still have them this year? Other questions? Yep.
No question. Just want to say thank you for the work that you did and getting resident from my area recognized in the Hall of Fame. For Bob Geralman.
Oh, yeah. So it's on here. Bob Geralman. Last year, we started our Cayuga County Veteran Service award. And Bob Geralman is from Weedsport. And Aileen actually called me one day and said, we have someone to nominate for the state center.
I was in a different capacity, wearing a different hat. Let the record reflect.
But we were able to put him in for this award, and it went through, and I actually went to Albany a couple weeks ago to see him get awarded for the state, each year, each state senator can nominate a veteran or put a veteran in what they call the State Veteran Hall of Fame. So that's been going on for years. And it's available every year. So if you know of a veteran who's doing great things within their community, then let us know about it and we can nominate them for that, and potentially the Cayuga County Award as well. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Jenny, The rest of the resolutions, GO1, GO4, and GO2. I guess we're going to speak to, but GO1 and 2, maybe we could. I put them together and then I'll get a motion for them and. Okay. GO1 is, as we talked about, is adapting the local law relating to the sale of the property on Beech Tree Road. We had a public hearing and yes, and now this is the moving forward with the resolution. GO4 is the one that was inadvertently left off. This is fixing the day of notice of a public hearing for the sale of property on Clinton Road, which I believe is in Elbridge.
It is in Elbridge,
The
correct?
county owns the property.
Correct.
And it's a similar situation where you want to move that property off the county
Correct.
rolls.
Yes.
I move GO1 and GO2. Oh,
Yeah, because they screwed it up, yeah.
oh, okay. I
Yeah.
see, yeah.
Can I get a second for that?
I'll second it. Art.
Okay. Any further comments or any questions from anybody? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. And GO2 is the amending of the policy on the sale and disposition of real property owned by Cayuga County. This is an update to a current policy, is that?
Correct, so there's just two changes really. One is the members of the committee, the real county owned real property committee. It used to have the operations officer and we replaced that with the county manager. So county manager looks at more of long range planning, so we felt it was more appropriate for that position to be on that committee. And then the other change is the way the policy used to be written for recommended outcomes is it was written more that it sounded like we should reach out to neighboring property owners first to offer properties. Whereas really the preference is to sell these properties at after public advertisement. So it just was rewritten to kind of clarify that so that any other real property director that may come in the future understands that that should be the order of things. Certainly we can still do negotiated sales if there are, circumstances that warrant it. So.
I get a motion and a second for GO2.
Move it, Mark.
Second.
Okay, any other questions for Jenny? All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Yeah, you usually report it ways.
I was a fan
Yes.
of the ways, but
Okay. I guess, is there any other business to come before the committee? We can discuss ledge 1, which is the renewal of the video conferencing. It'll be on the ledge agenda. Do we have to move?
No, I don't, it's just for
Yeah, it's just for
information,
information.
notice only.
I believe. All right. Hearing none, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Great, thank you.